Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to Inner Freedom. This is such a powerful and foundational module in our journey together in order to fulfill our soul purpose, to live our divine destiny, to live the life we came here to live, the one that is meant for our unique soul, for our unique frequency. So for that, we need to put the basis, because without this, we're going to live a life on autopilot. We're going to live a life that is not ours, that is led by our mind from our ego. And it's not the life that is most fulfilling. But when we acquire the inner freedom, which is the foundation, the first step in order to align with our soul purpose and be able to create from our soul, to be a purer channel of the divine frequency on earth, to be a blessing, and to fulfill and to share our gifts. This is the most important and the first step that we need to do. Without this, nothing is gonna work. We're gonna go in circles. We're gonna listen a little bit to our soul to come this way, but then the mind will start to pull us astray, to pull us back to the old identity, to the old habits, the old identity, the old way of doing things, right? So that's why inner freedom is the most important first step and foundation in this journey. And there are 4 steps in order to do this. You know that I like models, I like to simplify things, because I believe otherwise it's getting too complex. And when talking about, this process of being and becoming, of using our spirituality, our divine gifts of manifestation and so on, it can be so complex that we get lost. And we need also the mind to cooperate with us, because the mind is not our enemy, right? It's wants to serve, to help us. But when we are not present and we don't have mastery of our inner being, of our mind, the mind becomes the ruler, and it takes us on a very different path than our soul path. Right? So that's why the inner freedom process, it's about coming back to our sovereignty, to awaken the inner master, the only one who can actually lead all aspects of ourselves. Because we are such a complex being with so many layers, bodies, experiences, right? To simplify, we have the divine being, right? But we also have the human experience. We are the soul, the spirit, but we have also a mind, a body, and more bodies, right? Emotional, the energetic, the physical body. So all of them have different ways of fulfillment, different needs. So only when the inner master is awakened, the king or the queen of your inner kingdom, only then we can lead and harmonize all these aspects within us. But to acquire inner freedom, it's the foundation, as I said, and it comes only from switching the model of reality, from the old way of how we were conditioned to function into the world and to find fulfillment or happiness, to the true one that it's actually working and it's actually bringing us what we are truly looking for. So in the old paradigm, this is what happens. So we come in this reality with a unique soul signature, a frequency, undisrupted, and we came with some gifts, a soul purpose, a contract. This is what our gifts are, our frequency to express into the world, to share our spark, right? But then what happens is that even from the birth, even before that, we have some traumatic experiences. And that doesn't mean to be very violent or anything. It might be we didn't receive attention or love the way we needed from our mother, or we didn't receive attention or validation from the father, and then how life continued, right? We assumed different beliefs. I'm not worth it. I'm not good enough. I don't belong, and so on. So we closed our hearts and we developed a protective mechanism, the ego, and compensatory modalities, strategies. I need to prove myself. I need to earn, to make this amount of money, to be in this relationship, to have this career, house, car, and so on, right? Which we'll think will compensate. Because when we close, we block the energy flow, so we don't feel complete. We feel like something is missing inside of us, right? And it is because when we are open and we are fully aligned with our self and with the cosmic flow, then we feel complete. The energies are flowing within us, and we feel peace, we feel love, we feel joy, right? Everything is already within us. But when we close, even in our chakras, there are blockages, and then limiting beliefs in the mental body, wounds in our emotional body, right? They're all connected on different aspects, layers. But there are blockages in our bodies, in our subtle bodies, and that makes us to want to gain energy from outside to compensate, because the energy is not flowing within us, right? So we develop different strategies trying to manipulate things and to get from outside the recognition, the love, the abundance, right? So that is never going to work long term. It might seem it works on the short term, when we get the promotion or the person and the fulfillment, the vacation and so on, but only temporary. Then, so when we get that, we feel again open for a few moments. Then we come back to our old conditioning and energy and blocks, because we didn't work at the root. So this is how it functions. We actually have a blockage, right? So we feel incomplete. We feel a void within us. We feel something is not comfortable in our heart, where it's actually the main root cause for our blockages. We feel a contraction in our hearts. So what we do, so the heart is not okay. Then we go to the mind, mind, do something, save me. The heart is saying, I don't feel happiness, I don't feel complete, I don't feel whole, I suffer. And the mind, which is very well intentioned, wants to serve the heart. Okay, my darling, I will make some calculations, I will come up with a strategy. Okay, if we get this recognition from these people, then we'll compensate for the lack, for the fulfillment of not being seen or not being good enough. So we try to do this even more. Fill the void again and again, more and more, like a drug. And that's why the mind is so agitated. If you're wondering, why can't I meditate? Why is my mind never stopping? This is why, because the mind wants to help. The mind wants to help the heart not to feel, not to suffer. Is it landing for you? It's a very important point, because we try to control the mind, but forcing it, stay, stop, this is never going to work, because mind, we gave it a job to stop us from suffering, right? But the mind is doing that all the time, non-stop, because we are suffering non-stop. So we have to break this pattern, because the mind doesn't know what to listen. You want me to stop, but in the same time you want me to save you, to stop suffering. So the heart is suffering, the mind is agitated, trying to solve, and where it wants to solve, from outside, from the external world, right? Which is never going to work, as we established before. So then how we reverse all this process? Well, we reverse it from the three layers, from the external world, right? We understand that this model is never going to work. Trying to find happiness and together to get energy, validation, whatever it needs, money and so on, from the outside world in order to fulfill a void within. So we free the world. This is the first step. We free the expectation that outside circumstances are gonna fill me, right? Then step number 2 is fire the mind, because we have 3F in order to be very memorable. We free the mind. So we take the pressure of the results from the outside world. Then the mind can relax because its job was to fix the world outside, right? So if we take the energy from the world and expectations, the mind can finally relax. And then we go to the root, which is feel the heart. Because as I was sharing, this is where is the root cause. Our hearts were closed because they were wounded. Even from a time when we were not able to do anything about it. Because as a child, for example, we couldn't hold space for the heart, for that emotion, for that intense energy to go through us, to process. So we had to close, right? It was too intense for us. And then, of course, it was normal to go to the mind and so on this story, right? But now we have a deeper and much more awareness. Our energies, bodies are more stable because we did the inner work. We have the understanding, we have the capacity to hold more discomfort. Because this is what we need to do, to feel the heart, but not just to feel the emotion. Even this is a huge one because most people are so disconnected from their hearts and only function from the mind. This is the cause of it. So if you get this, it's amazing. It's going to serve you so much, because awareness, it's everything, right? Without awareness, without knowing what is happening at the deepest layers of our being, we are lost. We're going to continue the same fight for dopamine, struggle, and so on, right? So we're going to the root, which is feeling our hearts. So feeling the emotion, because when we stop the search for outside stimulation, when we sit in silence and we feel the body, the sensations in the body, the emotions, what comes up, which wants to be processed for so long, right? And the more we agitate, we don't allow this process, the natural process, to purify itself, right? Because we have, even in the emotional bodies, we have a processing autoimmune system like we have in the physical body that wants to release what has been stored and pushed down there, right? So when we feel our hearts, but from a place of pure love and acceptance, this is very important. When we are connected with our higher being, is the only one who can actually hold space for these uncomfortable feelings to come up. Because if it was stored with pain, it will come up with pain. So because we don't want to feel the pain, we go to the mind and we go to outside to solve that. But it's not working. We have to reverse the process and we have to come back to the heart. In silence, in stillness, in feeling. The feeling is such an important portal. Only through feeling we come back home. Without feeling, and this is the disease of our society, that we are disconnected from feeling and going to the mind. Without this, we're never going back to our true nature. We're living in the mind, we're not living in reality. Right? So when we allow to feel our bodies, to feel our emotions, which are surfacing from the deeper layers of our being, the more we allow it, it happens naturally. We just need to hold space for it. It gets purified. It gets alchemized. This is the ancient science of alchemy. When we bring, right, the lower vibration, which is the wounded aspect, let's call it like that, but it's an energy, right, of much denser or grosser vibration, which comes up. But when we meet it with a higher vibration, right, the lead and the gold, right, we meet it in peace, in love, in full acceptance, that gets alchemized, gets transformed. It gets, we can let it go. We can let it pass completely through us, right? So it's a natural process, but we need to develop this capacity to just hold space for our emotions, for the energies within. And then this is the key, the first step when we develop true inner freedom. And that is presence. So everybody's talking about presence, right, in the spiritual community, but very few people really understand what it means. We think that presence is just forcing the mind to stay quiet, to stay still, and we discussed that it's not going to work without these steps, right? Because we are not addressing the root cause, right? When we understand why the mind is so agitated, then we become much more compassionate towards it, and we don't turn it into our enemy, the one that we want, a beast that we want to tame, because it's never going to work, right? Only with love, acceptance, kindness, patience, we can enter into the right relationship with our mind and with our ego, and we can step into presence, which is the vertical line of our being, the divine being. When we function into the world from the mind, from the ego, we're functioning on the horizontal line, which is the world of duality, of separation, where we don't find true fulfillment. But when we enter into and it's a totally different dimension, the world of the presence, we get out of the world of the mind, the world of illusion, where we are playing a role which is not our true nature. We're coming back to our true essence. So when we are making this shift, right, we begin to the true ascension and evolution on the vertical line. We're spending most of our time and energy and life on the horizontal, going back and forth, back and forth. Nothing is really happening, no progress, it's actually happening. But when we come back to presence, then we begin the ascension. So this is the beginning actually of our soul path. When we come back to presence, a new dimension is opening up. We are connecting to our higher self, to our divine aspect. We access so much gifts, possibility. We connect to the intuition, to the higher realms, to our spiritual team. It's incredible how much potential it's opening up when we do this. But it all starts with presence and with this first step, the process of inner freedom. When we are in presence, we are free. We are an awakened being. We come out of the matrix, of the world of illusion, of the world of mind, into our true self, connected with spirit. This is true freedom. It's not doing the works of the mind, of the ego, go to this vacation or have this free lifestyle. That's not true freedom. True freedom is living aligned in presence, aligned with our true nature, with who we truly are. And this is the beginning of living our divine destiny, our soul purpose. Because only in this space we remember who we truly are, we remember our soul contracts, and we begin to be guided by life, right? It's a totally different way of living life on the vertical line. Because on the horizontal, we believe the logic, we believe the mind, what makes sense, we strategize, we so on. On the vertical line, we are divinely guided, we surrender to spirit, and then we become a purer channel of how life, universe wants to express to us. This is when we actually share our spark, our essence to the world. So in the next modules, of course, in this whole journey of divine destiny, we're putting all the pieces together. So this module is just about the beginning, the foundation, to gain inner freedom. And this 4 steps that we need to master in order to switch, to make the transition from the world of the mind to the world of now, to the world of peace, of love, of joy, of inspiration, of insight, to the world of spirit. So we're going to do a guided process. I'll guide you through this step by step, how we do this, because this is a practice that it's, as I said, the foundation. And it's very important to do it with, even because this is the beginning. When we connect with our soul mission, with our guides, We cannot do it from the mind. This is like a preliminary phase, and it can be very short. When we master it, we go through it, we learn how to do it. It can be very fast. Free the world, fire the mind, fill the heart, stay with the heart a little bit. How much, and the more you stay with it, you develop a relationship, and you process, you alchemize, and then you come into presence. And from presence, we will continue in the other modules, but it begins then our new life from our true identity, from our true divine identity. So I hope this theoretical part was useful, brought you more clarity, and I'll see you in a bit. Let's do the guided meditation together.